Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K Now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Nick.
Good morning.
Morning. And Spence is here.
Hello there.
Hello. And Gal, oh, he just dropped. I mean, he's still fixing things, so give him
He had
time.
his computer. He had
Yeah,
his
it's
computer
fine.
up on a jack.
Our number is 919-518-9773. Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by VMEX Software, Telestream's Wirecast software, and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear.
The guy's got his PC up on a jack and he's under there with the mechanic's
Yep.
creeper, hammering away at it.
Probably needs some rags to wipe all the oil and grease. That,
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yesterday I told you I was working on that car. Just the stupid thing that happened. I had to disconnect something that was dripping antifreeze. So I put a pail in there to catch it. Because even though I put clamps on the hoses, it was still dripping. So I went through the whole day, literally collecting the antifreeze. So the last thing at the end of the day, I'm cleaning up and I knock a wrench off and it falls down and knocks over the pail.
Oh,
It's like, I'm scrambling around trying to find something to collect this 3/4 of a quart of antifreeze that's now spilling on my garage floor.
it's
well.
okay. It's going to make it kind of
Slippery.
not slippery, slick.
Yeah, I'll have cats coming in there licking the floor and I'll be accused of poisoning them.
You know how they used to beautify the trucks in the military?
No.
Oil.
Oh, really?
You use oil as wax.
Yeah, it'd be okay until it gets dirty. And then
Well, yeah.
you have to do it again.
Yeah. All right. So you did the 2004. My machine did the 2004. Who else? And anybody in the chat noticed that their computer updated to 2000 Windows 10, the 2004 edition? I was talking about it 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and say how slow it was on that one machine that did it. Turns out it was the machine.
But did you use the installer? Download the installer? You
I
over the
did
network?
not even know that it was doing it.
Oh, well, that's
It was
probably why.
ready, and it says you need to restart the machine in order for it to finish. And that's what took forever. I don't know about the download or the I did not download anything. I let it do all by itself.
The two that I did, I used the I downloaded the installer and I did it that way.
So you mean you forced it to do
I
that?
forced it. Yeah.
That's
Because
the
I
way to
didn't
do
I
it.
didn't want it to happen and when I wasn't, I could turn the machine on one day and have to use it and say, oh crap.
Yeah.
Here it goes and something gets broken.
What
So-
were you saying, Nick?
No, that's exactly, Spencer's exactly right. If you wait for the Windows updater to do it when it's ready, there's a likelihood it's going to do it during a time when you need the system. So just do it.
I think
It doesn't take long.
I think it said that it was going to do it outside of the.
Yeah, those don't work.
I don't have my machine on
And-
outside of business hours.
Those don't
Typically.
work. We've got all of our machines set business hours
Yeah.
5 and at work, and it doesn't matter. Windows will just do updates in the middle of the day. That doesn't matter.
Dang.
We've had doctors in the middle of procedures, and the computer just shuts off and starts doing an update. There's no rhyme or reason.
It's kind of like that saying. It's business hours somewhere.
Yeah. So I mean that's the big thing. If you're somebody that is freaking out about, oh, my computer randomly updates, then all right. If you know that's a possibility, take an hour of your time on a weekend or at night and just do the damn update so that you don't have to bitch and complain that it did the update when you needed to use your computer. I mean,
yeah,
it's very simple to do. So I keep seeing all these posts online of people complaining about these updates, and it's like, you can do them whenever. The update's been out for a month. I did mine over a month ago. Just do it.
I let it do it by itself. I didn't want to.
No, but you're not complaining.
With
about
me,
it, is my point.
it's fine. I've got other machines if I need to use.
Yes.
The only thing I'm worried about is this machine here, and it's still saying 1903. But
you really should do it on that machine, because in all likelihood that thing will reboot in the middle of the week, and you will.
Yeah, I mean, I can do it. I can do it.
You should do it today.
So no, I can't, because
Why?
I want to make sure that nothing breaks for tomorrow morning shows.
But you can roll back.
Oh,
Can you go from 1903 to 1907?
No, I mean it says the 1909.
I mean, do you have to go to?
It's,
Can you go from 1903 to 2004 directly?
It's not really 1903. Remember, we talked about it last week, and when
right.
I went in, it said 1909. It's just Windows got lost somewhere. But listen to what's happening with 2004 and tell me if I understand it correctly. Microsoft is removing the ability for business users to defer manually Windows 10 feature updates using Windows Update setting, starting with the Windows 10 2004 update. Microsoft seemingly made this change public with a change in its Windows 10 2004 for IT professionals, pros, documentation on June 23rd. It says...
So does that mean that they changed administratively the way you change it?
Well, I don't know. It says Microsoft,
or that you can't do it?
Microsoft officials say the change is happening in the name of reducing confusion. Last year, we changed update installation policies for Windows 10 to only target devices running a feature update version that is nearing the end of service. As a result, many devices are only updating once a year.
Yep.
To enable all devices to make the most of this policy change and to prevent confusion, we have removed deferrals from the Windows Update setting advanced option page starting on Windows 10 version 2004.
So it was an
That's it.
administrative change that they made, just the way you invoke it, that you're not automatically changing all the machines in your enterprise to update in a year.
Well, the thing is,
that was you can still do it. I can do it on my machine up to a year. You just have to know where the setting is.
but they said that they removed it.
Oh, I mean, they removed it from the administrative. When you have the global administration of your machines controlled by IT, to IT
Well, yeah,
GPO,
you're going to have
a group policy. Yeah.
group policy. You set a group policy to say, so now they can't do that anymore, because the easy thing to do from the IT perspective is to say, I don't want any trouble, so put this off for a year.
You know, I've talked about this 1,000 times on
Yeah.
here, but I think it's important to continue to reiterate, is the reason that Microsoft has to do this is because of their stupid effing users. That's the reason that they have to force these updates, because people are so stupid when it comes to doing updates. They'll have a computer that's 3 years out of date and then go, oh, why do I have all these problems when I updated? Well, it's because you haven't done an update in 3 years.
No.
It's different. Oh, I don't like to update. Well, it does kind of suck for Microsoft. They are completely in between a rock and a hard place.
So are they working on a
Hey.
direct from Windows XP to 2004 update?
You've got to be careful when you're saying 2004. I was talking to a support vendor this week for for a medical software that we manage, and I mentioned that we had done the 2004 update. He said, "I'm sorry, you're running server 2004." I said, "No. Windows 10, the 2004 cumulative update." So just be careful when you're describing 2004 to people.
Microsoft would never intentionally mislead people.
So, Gal, is it working? Uh-oh.
Oh.
Dang.
Semaphore. That's what we need, semaphore.
We can't hear you. No.
Oh, well, was it a
Yeah. Okay.
was it a result of an update, do you think? Thumbs up or down? No.
Okay. All right. So yeah, it's
now?
There you go.
there.
We'll hear you.
It's Zoom.
It's Zoom?
Yeah.
What?
The microphone is set to the same as system. Every other communication software works okay, but here I need to specify it specifically. I'm working with voice meter, and for some reason it's not picking it up. I have no idea why.
Oh, so now you're not using? Yeah, you are using a voice
No,
meter
I'm
now.
still going through voice meter, but I needed to tell it use specifically that voice meter output. Ridiculous. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the fun of using newer software.
Figure out later.
Yeah.
But it's 100% Zoom. Discord didn't have any issues, so
Take that back.
Does it have anything to do with the way that I set up the meeting?
no, it has nothing to do with it. It's
Okay.
software.
Take that back. That's not true. Zoom has no problems.
Look, the fact that you're invested in them is not my problem.
Well, I mean, actually, technically, it is my problem.
No, I said it's not my problem.
Technically, it is your problem as well. You use it.
I use it. I use it because I'm hosted here.
Yeah, I mean, you use it when you have to use it, and you use other stuff when you have to use other stuff. Yeah, I'm still waiting.
Welcome, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, go.
I'm still waiting to hear from other people. Did anybody use the newer conferencing software, like from Google, from Facebook, is anything better?
The Google one's not bad. It's missing some key features, like automatically allowing people to join the group. Everybody has to be allowed.
Well,
which doesn't work if you're. What'd you say?
This is how it's over here too.
Oh, yeah, but you set that yourself.
Yeah. Oh, the other one by default is like that. That's how it works.
And change it. So, like, for example, if you're doing a Hangout style of video chat and I get up and go to the bathroom and you do a join request, you're just going to sit there till I get back.
Oh. Yeah, it seems like they should have allowed you to put other people in charge.
Or just make it so you don't have
person.
to, or make it so you don't have to
do
a request.
I guess it's because of security. They don't want people to bomb you and get in. But yeah, there's overboard too. I agree. So that's the Hangout thing, the
Meet.
Google Meet.
We switched over to Teams at work. We
And?
switched away from Slack and Zoom to just Teams.
Yeah.
Teams is fine. Once you figure out its little quirks on how to use it, it's fine. It's built in. It's built into the Microsoft ecosystem, so it's nice.
So, but Teams requires Office 365, right?
Correct.
Whatever, yeah.
Which, if you're in any sort of business world, you're most likely using anyway.
Yeah. And both these also have the feature of showing it as a gallery or showing the active talker, like here when.
I'm sure they do. I'm not really played around with
You don't
teams.
do
We're not doing shows with teams, so it's kind of doesn't really matter.
No.
So yeah. But it's got the same things as Zoom. It's got a call bridge where you can place a phone call. It's got all that stuff.
Nice. All right. So that's what Microsoft did with Windows 2004. Now, Microsoft was not idle this week. They also announced that they will permanently close all of their physical retail stores and transfer most of its resources to online channels. This comes.
They were still a thing. I didn't hear about them in a long time.
One in Durham.
Oh yeah. This comes after the computing giant shuttered the outlets in late March due to the COVID-19 crisis, in what Microsoft touting is a new approach to retail. The company said its retail store employees will be transitioned to its corporate hubs and will provide customers remote sales, training, and support. The company will focus its efforts on existing digital stores on Microsoft.com and through Windows and Xbox, which have a collective reach of 1.2 billion people globally. They added that the closure will result in a pre-tax charge of around $450 million, which it said consists mostly of assets, write-offs, and impairments. The Seattle-based tech titan debuted, okay, whatever. But they're closing all of them.
Bad week for Microsoft.
Yeah, I guess.
Closing all their stores and shutting down Mixer all in the same week.
Yeah. I forgot to talk about that. That's right.
Yeah. Their Twitch TV competitor, Mixer, in which they rumoredly paid some streamers upwards of $20 to $50 million to move over to their platform. Just 11 months after those contracts were signed, they are shut down and had to pay out those guys as full multi-year contracts. So,
and they are moving it to.
They're not moving anything. No, they are not.
What I read. I mean,
but that's not the case. They're not moving anything to Facebook. Certain partners are just moving to Facebook, but Mixer itself is not moving anything. It's just gone.
Well, it seems like they were saying that things will be they will move automatically.
No, none of that. Well, okay, that might be the case, but what they've come up with an agreement with Facebook to move Mixer partners into Facebook contracts, but nobody is buying Mixer.
No, they're not.
So
okay,
it's not going. Okay. It's not going anywhere.
Right.
Well, I mean, it is. It's closing, but it's not. It's not being purchased or merged into another platform. Very interesting, to say the least.
We're going to lose a link down there.
Well, you should add DLive.
DLive doesn't
Aren't
really
we on
work.
TikTok?
Huh?
No.
Aren't we on TikTok?
Anna, do you even know what TikTok is?
Yeah, but
okay.
No. I mean, I will add any. I will put it on any platform.
Well, you should put it over on DLive.
I am on DLive, but I can't figure out how to do it live.
Oh, how to embed it?
Well, that's what I'm saying. The embed does not exist. It's sort of like you just do it on
not.
there. I mean, last time I looked at it, I look at it every 6 months. I go and see who Restreams does, and DLive was there, and I set up the account, and it's actually going to DLive now, but it's not. I can't bring it into the website. And if there is a way, maybe I should look at it again. Maybe they changed things. But yeah, there's a few of them. Let's see, who are we on? We're on YouTube, Mixer, Vaughn, Twitch, FC2 Live, D Live. That's it. And
So-
we're also, I mean, I keep forgetting to mention to people that we're also on the Roku. What you were saying?
Well, we were talking about all of the ways of watching, and last week I mentioned that the Android app wasn't working.
Yeah.
So there's a very, very easy solution, because the link will work with YouTube and will work so setting it up is rather easy. There's an app, a free app, ad-free, no tracking, nothing, called website shortcut, and it basically creates a shortcut as an app icon in the Android.
Oh.
And you just do share from once you install that, you do share from the live stream or from the channel, from the NCN channel, right?
Mhm.
And you get an icon. Once you click that, it opens the live stream immediately.
Interesting.
So you don't need like a dedicated app. And it gives you a nice icon and everything. So
All right,
yeah.
we'll talk about that. That's interesting. That's good.
Yeah.
That's much better than this, because this, a lot of people don't. I don't know anybody that actually installed the app.
Well, I
And-
know somebody who installed
Yeah,
it.
well,
You know
yeah.
him too, but
Did you look to see why it's not working?
I didn't go into.
I mean, back when we did it, because it gets it out of the website, the URL was always because in a lot of places you
Yeah.
have to put the actual, not the URL that we use, but what the machine sees, and it used to be home comp2k web-site. Now it's home comp2k/www. And a lot of the actual links changed when we went to the new servers. So it's probably something simple, but yeah, I'd rather go the way that you're talking about. But I mean, if you try to go with your phone to computers2know.com,
You get the page.
no, you should not get the regular page. You should get the mobile page, which
Yeah,
only
get a
has.
redirect to the mobile page.
Yeah,
That
still
works.
you get.
No, I mean you have to go down at the bottom and click full site or something like that, which really is crazy because it's way too small. But if you just go to computers2know.com, it should come up with, it should redirect you to the mobile site, which has the video on top. Yeah, that's it.
The key
So-
is, though, if you're
Mhm.
not the key, but one of the things to note, though, if you're on a phone, you're probably better off using the YouTube app or the Twitch app or one of the streaming service apps.
That's why I suggested the
Yeah.
website shortcut application. It just drops an icon directly to the channel on your homepage, and so you click that. It opens YouTube where you want it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But-
Not that the website doesn't work, but the apps for YouTube and whatnot are better at handling buffering if you're on the go and whatnot than the,
Yeah.
than the regular website.
One
would be.
question about this, guys. If we use that and the using and the actual link that somebody would click on, when you click on it, you're using the YouTube app. What happens? What happens to commercials in the middle? You know, what do you call them?
They don't have mid rolls on YouTube.
They don't. So there is nothing else that interferes with the show. I mean, the show will go from beginning to end in one stream. No.
I mean, it should, but
interference.
Twitch does the same thing, even on the Twitch website. So all
Well,
the
you
settings-
see, but that's the thing. If you go to, that's right. When you go, it's true. You don't see any. What do you call them?
That's probably because you're running ad block.
Hmm.
Not on your phone though, unless you're using a browser like Brave.
All right. Okay. Yeah, we'll talk about this. All right. Good.
I'll tell you what, though, the real the good way to watch mobile is the Twitch app because they have an audio only feed. You can change it to audio only and multitask on your phone.
That's nice.
Which is nice.
And then you can open the Computer 2K Now
And go to the chat
website and go to the chat. Yeah.
Yep.
I wish YouTube would do
So
that.
wait a second.
Yeah. Well, they did
So-
do. You just have to pay for it.
Well, yeah, I'm not paying for it. Sorry.
Does
No,
that
neither.
mean does that mean that I'll at that point I can do away with the audio server?
No, you should keep it for tuning and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Oh.
But I'm just there.
Yeah, yeah.
The point is, there's multiple ways to watch. That's
Yeah.
the nice thing about if you look back at the mobile phone market in the 2010-ish era, because these sites and services were so fragmented, everybody had to have their own app.
Yeah.
There's no reason to have one anymore.
Right.
If you're, depending on what you're doing, of course. But there's with YouTube and Twitch and DLive's got an app and Mixer had an app. There's no reason to, and then of course with podcasting apps, there's 1,000 of those. There's just no reason to use anything else.
Yeah.
Gene put a message in the chat and said
Yeah,
that free conference
see
call
that.
just came out with a video conferencing service. I use free conference call for one of our clients, but I didn't know they came out with a video service.
Oh, so they were just audio before?
They had some limited video stuff, but it looks like they've come out with an app now. That's pretty cool. They're great. If you need a quick call bridge, they're the best.
Thanks, Gene. This is really not computer related, but I read it and I said, "Oh wow!" Olympus, once one of the world's biggest camera brands, is selling off that part of its business after 84 years. The firm said that despite its best effort, the extremely severe digital camera market was no longer profitable.
So they're selling it off. What else do they do?
I have no idea.
Who?
Olympus. Olympus was the first camera I ever had. I think I was early teen.
That's my
it was-
digital SLR was an Olympus. I mean, I still have it. It still works. But
Yeah,
it's,
this was a 35 millimeter.
yeah, this was.
It's still going to exist, right? They're just selling
Well,
the
that's what they
business, but
said. They
it's
said that
really
they-
weird.
I'm just
yeah.
wondering what else they do besides.
They do.
Cameras.
They manufacture endoscopy, ultrasound, enthrotherapy
Other optical system. Okay.
for medical. They also manufacture microscopes and optics for specialized medical
There you
uses.
go. Yeah.
And then they manufacture and sell scanners, flow detectors, probes, thickness gauges, analysis, image analysis software, video scopes, fiber scopes, light scopes, bunch of analyzers. Yeah, it looks like they're doing some. Well, you got to remember, Olympus is Mitsubishi, so I mean, Mitsubishi does a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, but it's just interesting how, I mean, it's probably all because of phones, because of the cameras that are in phones and other devices that are just.
Right, but
you know,
it doesn't mean that they can't manufacture, lenses and sensors for phones, right?
Exactly.
But yeah,
talking
they're
about
dropping the interesting.
talking about cameras and higher res and all that, I changed most of the cameras on the security system at home, the CCTV, to HD 1080p.
Oh yeah, how's your new system doing? Yeah.
It is unfreaking believable. I mean, I get used to use it not the way that the old system was. I wish it had that, but it's okay. I can still do what I need to do. But the pictures, jeez.
Oh my God, it's like walking into 2020.
I mean, I can zoom in on a car that's on Wayne Street from two cameras I can zoom in and even see the license plate number.
Nice.
It's
Well, that's what happens when you're using cameras from the 1960s in
Well-
your security camera system.
What, don't you know that on all
Not
TV
the
shows,
1960s, the 70s. Come on.
It's not now. Now let me tell you something. You know the
Oh, okay, yes.
the cameras themselves, the older cameras, are not bad at all. Some of them are bad, the old ones. But I always, when I had to replace camera, and you do have to replace cameras, I bought better and better ones. Better and better ones means more TV lines. So the best ones that I had out there were 1,200 TV lines.
Which is a resolution, 1,200 lines. 1,200, yes.
Versus the original ones that were 380 lines.
Yeah, 380p. That's what 380p is,
but-
300
But
lines.
the thing is, on the old system, on that computer with those capture cards, it made no difference.
Of course, because it was
Now
an
that-
SD capture card.
Right. So now that I put the new system in, the DVR itself, suddenly those cameras that I used and they were, okay, it didn't make any difference. Wow.
what brand is it?
It's a Tiger Secu, SECU. It's from it's on Amazon. And, and it's amazing. I mean, 16 channels, $200.
So that's how they do it on TV shows when they show a dark, rainy night and they see a vehicle off in the distance and it's all black. And they say, zoom in on that license plate, and suddenly it appears
Right.
perfectly clear.
I mean, no,
Enhance.
you need to get a camera that can zoom in from far away. I mean, this is like, we're talking about what, 200 feet? So
I heard the Amnon's old cameras. He went to a WRAL auction and bought some of their old 40 studio cameras.
yeah,
and
that's what I
wired
have
them in.
on the rotor up on the roof. It's one.
Yeah,
of
on the
them.
roof. Yeah, you've got Steve up there. He is your camera operator. Yeah. He's got a little a little cover over his head.
And here is something else that's interesting, which I don't follow. You can still buy. I mean, a lot of people buy the CCTV, the older ones, not HD.
Yeah, of course.
They're roughly running between 25 and up.
Mhm.
The HD 1080p are like $15 and $16 and $17. I'm saying, what in the world?
Okay, but here's the thing, though, Amnon. You know this better than anybody. Resolution is not always the best.
It's a newer camera.
Yes, but resolution, at the end of the day, what makes a camera good is its sensor.
Yeah.
So
It's a
Now-
third. Yeah.
in almost every case, a 1080p camera is going to look better than an older 360p camera. But if
Right.
it's using a very, very, very crappy sensor, it may look a little bit better, but obviously you should always buy a 1080p camera. But that's the reason why, Amnon, is because they're just using cheap crap sensors.
Yeah, no, the sensor, I bought some that were $18. They're a Sony sensor. It's
Okay.
a third of an inch, which is the same as in the other ones. As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
some of the old ones had a quarter inch sensor. It's fine, but it just opened a whole. That's why I said, oh, they're that cheap. I'm going to replace all of them. So I think they cost $14 when you buy 10 of them. So it was fine.
So I've actually got it's not really computer related, but it kind of is. So I don't know if I've mentioned it on the show, but I'm purchasing a house. And one of the things obviously is a home security system. Now you've got your traditional security companies like CPI and ADT, and that stuff doesn't really tickle my fancy.
It's also way expensive.
Yeah. So obviously I've seen, Simply Safe is like the big online one.
Mhm.
They're kind of the big, I call them the new age security company. All their sensors are wireless. You have a hub that hooks to your internet and then everything else just cross connects. Does anybody
I
have
have
any
all your own.
experience with
Oh,
those?
it's broadband wireless backhaul. It uses this. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's not really backhaul.
Spence, you installed
Verizon,
one of them.
AT&T base stations.
You
And you
installed
can
it.
use it'll connect
installed-
to your Wi-Fi, but the main connection back to the monitoring is through cellular.
That's if you do the monitoring.
Well,
You don't have to do.
well, the good news and bad news with Simply Safe is the monitoring is like $14.95 a month. But if you want the apps, you pay more.
Oh, really? Damn it.
Yeah. So it
But
isn't.
why not roll your own?
Well, okay, so I'm not opposed to rolling my own at all. I would question you, Gal, as okay.
Do you
what
need?
What do I need to do?
Do you need monitoring?
No, I don't
Or you
think.
just
No, I don't
just
need
want to
monitoring,
be?
but I want an app. I want
use,
alerts.
Okay.
I want to hear.
okay.
Oh, the house is on fire. Okay, thanks. So I can
Wait,
call.
let
them.
use
Gal,
Uma.
let Gal. What Gal? Go ahead.
So take a look at Home Assistant. Hook up some RTSP cameras using, or not even RTSP cameras. You can even that you can roll.
I don't
your
even care
own.
about the cameras really. I'm more in for the censoring than anything
Then
else.
definitely do Home Assistant with a Zigbee USB stick, and just buy Zigbee sensors, and you're home free.
So they make them for doors,
Zigbee or
and
Z-Wave.
windows.
Yeah.
And
I got my
Okay,
whole.
but so how do I get an app?
The Home Assistant has an app.
Oh, okay. So it's called. What is
It
it
has-
called? The Home Assistant.
Home Assistant.
What's it?
it's not what. It's not your Google Home Assistant
Look.
he's talking about.
No.
No, I'm
don't-
asking what the app. I'm downloading. What's the icon?
Home
look like?
Assistant. Go to homeassistant.io. That's the website.
Oh, I see. It's a little
And-
house with a tree inside of it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna install it on my phone and see what it does.
It
So yeah, I
is.
mean, so that's one of the things is now obviously I'm a tinkerer, right?
Yeah.
Tinkerer.
Yeah, Tinkerer.
Um,
Tinkerer.
So- tinkerer. So it's cool to be able to do the Home Assistant stuff, but Gal, I think you will admit that sometimes a paid-for solution is less
And hook
bullshit.
it up to a paid. No, I do not agree.
Well,
because
why? You
every
can't.
paid-
That's not true.
Every paid for solution, right, is a lock-in.
It is, of course.
something that, and then you see, I don't know, you see another solution that you want to hook up, right? And then they say, no, we don't support it. File in a feature request. Maybe in a year or two we'll get enough user traction. Bullshit. That's why I'm saying when it comes to home automation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what? There's a different approach completely because Home Assistant is so open, right?
Yeah.
That even if you bought into a semi-closed solution, I don't know about Simply Safe specifically, right?
I'm sure
But
they don't.
They don't be sure. Don't be sure. Go to Home Assistant, go to their integration page, right? And just type Simply Safe and see what they say. Let's say Simply
No, they don't. Which is not surprising. They're a very closed
Simply
system.
Safe. It's here.
Really?
Yeah, Simply Safe integration. Integrate Simply Safe home security system into Home Assistant. Multiple Simply Safe account can be accommodated. There is currently support for the following device types: alarm control panel and locks.
That's
So
it. Okay,
it's
so no
not a
sensors.
Again,
Yeah.
you get the alarms from Simply Safe, right?
Yeah.
Triggering stuff in Home Assistant and vice versa.
So you
So-
still have to have paid.
I don't know
monitoring.
about paid, but
No,
I
you
don't know
can
about
just
paid,
get.
but maybe you can drop the app.
Yeah, exactly. So let me Amnon, move us along if this gets along when
No. This is
Um,
a lot of people are probably into this. It's
yeah,
fine.
But I mean, just keep us on track if you
I
would,
tell
so we
you,
don't
I
get
tell
off
you,
into
the one
weeds.
thing that I think is missing here is when you have a paid for, they will call like the police or the fire department.
They will.
And the
but I
fire
don't really care
department
for
is
that.
what's important. Now, how does it work with any of those with
It doesn't.
assistant? It doesn't.
not?
Probably. See, that's the problem. That could
But I
be-
don't care for that
I'm
anyway.
saying it does. You can still buy a subscription from a company like Simply Safe, hook
Right.
it up to your Home Assistant, have Home
Yeah.
Assistant trigger it.
Okay, if you have
Right?
to pay for the
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
app, yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
So So let's dig into this, Golf, a little bit if you can with me. So Home Assistant, I would assume you need to run a server.
Home Assistant is basically a server, right?
Okay.
You either run it as if you have a piece of computing devices in your home that runs 24/7, right? All it needs to do is run on that as a VM. If you want something completely dedicated, you buy a Raspberry Pi, and you run it on that.
Okay.
Now, it will hook up to probably anything that's out there in the planet right now, because the open source community is so active, right, that the amount of integration does not even come close. Any other competitor doesn't even come close. I'm talking about other open source project as well as any of the paid open systems like SmartThings and stuff. They're very good. They're not as good as Home Assistant, right? That's why I did the switch. But there's a huge but, right? Home Assistant allows you to do anything you can think about, but it also means that when you want something that is more complex, right, that is not completely baked in, it requires some work. But everything is possible. And once you install a very basic set of tools that require some manual involvement, right, you get a very robust self-taking. The system even takes care of itself. It knows how to back up itself. It knows how to create. It's like you can get so many add-ons and stuff that allows it to be completely automated in so many ways. It's not just home automation. Once you start using it, you start thinking about it of complete automation, not just home. It's just focused from your home, but it can be much more. So, yeah.
Can you run it in a Docker?
Yeah, sort of. So, there is, so it's Docker based, first of all. Okay, it's Docker based. It's basically 3 Docker services that start up a bunch of other Docker services. Because of that complexity, they recommend run it in a dedicated VM. I can tell you from my experience, I'm running it in what's called supervised mode, which has become sort of it got the back burner right now because of their development team, but it still works, and it's installed on a Linux machine and just a bunch of Docker containers on that Linux machine that manage one another. It is great.
So
in so many ways.
And
it seems like,
and Nick, as a tinkerer, that's right up your alley.
yeah. So it seems like the best way. Let's just try to simplify this as much as possible. Gal, it seems like the best way to do this is to go out and purchase a Raspberry Pi and have a dedicated device, just so that you can. Just
unless you already have some sort of Linux server that you want to run it.
Okay,
on.
so I already do have 2 Linux servers, but you think I should run it on get a Raspberry Pi for it, or run it on one of those servers?
No, I would run it on one of those servers. Just
can I run it inside of my? Can I run it inside of my
Ubuntu? If it's an alarm system, if you're going to run it on the server, you're going to have battery backup.
True, which would make sense because I'd have
make sure you have really good, robust UPS.
Yeah, it's more than battery backup though, right? Because if you do want alerting outside, you need your router to be backup as well.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
Take that into consideration.
Yeah, which would make sense because I'd have my server on a UPS when I probably wouldn't have my Raspberry Pi on a UPS. So then let me ask you this, Gal. Can you run this? Can you install this on top of Ubuntu, or do you have to install this in its own?
Oh yeah,
thing?
no. So I installed it on top of Ubuntu, but their recommended method is if you want to run it on Ubuntu, run it in a VM. I'm saying they're recommended because something has changed in the past 3 months, and they decided to focus on supporting within a VM instead of outside because of the complexity. It doesn't mean that it won't run. It doesn't mean, but it does mean that you might need to find your own solutions if you're sharing. Let's put it this way. Is that server serving any, playing any media directly, hooked up to a TV or something? Okay, so one of the things that's going to break once you install it is you'll notice that the machine you're running, the audio hookup suddenly loses the ability to play audio, right?
So
there's an easy fix, but the easiest fix is just run it inside a VM.
Okay,
and
so then
you don't have that problem.
So your recommendation would be to put this on my Docker host instead of my Ubuntu server.
If you have something like that, yes.
Which I do, where I run my Docker, where I run my Open Media Vault server.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Well, Open Media Vault, Open Media Vault.
Yeah,
is
that's
a
where
Linux
we're.
Machine. Yeah.
And that's where we're running. We're running Portainer and transmission and stuff like that on. That's the one you helped me set up. So okay, so great. So I got it installed.
Yeah.
Okay. So now what? Now what do I have? A web interface, a web GUI?
Yeah, you're working via. You're working via one side a web GUI, and the other side. So one side a web GUI, and the other side you're going to run. You're going to work with the configuration files. At the beginning, you'll probably edit a few configuration files manually, mainly to get some automation components for downloading other components, right? Then those are completely managed from the website. But most of your work is going to be from the UI, even automations, because one of the first things you're going to install will be an MQTT broker and Node-RED. And if anyone's listening, just check Node-RED. It is a fantastic. You know what? Let's do this.
Can you show anything? Screen. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't want to like screw up your privacy stuff, but
no. Let me share my browser for a sec, and I'll show you how this looks.
And is it safe to say
you have disabled participant screen sharing? Can you select me to share a screen?
Well, I have to allow you.
You have it turned. I don't know if he can. I think it's turned off in the settings of the Hangout. Let me see.
I wouldn't even know where to go to do that.
I'm gonna look it up real quick.
No, it's somewhere inside the display.
Yeah, it's kind of far from me, so. Dang it.
Doesn't matter.
All right, Amnon. Amnon, do this. So do you see where it says share screen at the bottom of your Zoom?
Shoot. No, I don't. Tell me which one is it. I see 5.
It's the green. It's the green one.
It's
the green one.
Yeah.
Click the little arrow next to it.
Okay.
And it should say advanced sharing options.
Yep.
Open that up, and then it says who can share, only the host or all participants. So just change that to all participants, and then Gal should be able to
share multiple participants.
No, but no, you need to change it to who can share though. To all participants.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So and then now Gal, and then click save or whatever.
I got it.
Gal should be able to share.
I got it.
There is no save.
Yeah, it should.
No, I got it. I got it. Let me just make sure I have a window that is only.
How do I get? Do I just close it? I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, just close it.
Okay.
Share this. Okay. So wait for it to show. If it's too small, let me take it down a notch.
Holy moly!
Sheesh.
Better. Okay.
Holy. What the?
Better?
That's all your stuff?
So these are, right now, this is all my stuff because I'm just setting up. So this page isn't ordered, isn't organized yet. So, for example, all of these, they're part of the same power strip, right? You see here like 8 different components.
Okay.
And each switch, right, has power consumption to it as well as a switching on and off. Okay. And has history of every operation. So not only do you get full control, you get a complete logbook of events of everything that's happening in your home that is hooked up to the system. Now, what Node-RED is that I mentioned. Let me activate it. I'm playing with a lot of stuff right now, so the system is far from perfect. So one of the first things you're going to see this. You're going to see the overview page here. It's going to start empty because that's where you see everything that's hooked up to it. Then you'll see you'll have a logbook and history. Those are
we
basically
we don't see the menu on the left on the thing because it's
let me
see what happened if I click the
I think you entered full screen.
Full screen.
You probably need to exit full screen.
Just double click escape.
Oh,
yeah.
There you go.
Okay, much better. Okay, so so over here, right? Overview, logbook, history. The logbook and the history are two different backends to everything that's happening in the house. The history is more of a graphical view, and the logbook is a list of events. What I have installed, the first thing you're going to work on installing is Hacks. It's Home Assistant community
community store
system. Yeah, and that creates UI based sort of store like what happened here? Okay, so you get like a list of components that you can install, manage, refresh, restart. Node-RED is, it hasn't started yet. Funny. Okay. Probably I think because the MQTT broker is down. So Node-RED is an MQTT automation author.
What does that mean?
MQTT is a publish subscribe protocol, network protocol, basically. Allows everybody calls it Internet of Things protocol. Allows simple servers, very, very lean servers and clients to communicate with one another in a certain way, and send commands like give me some information, or here, take some information, trigger an event, stuff like that. Node-RED, crap, I can't display it now. Node-RED is a graphical interface that will allow you to create workflows. Like if something happens here, send out an event there, and you can hook up everything there, right? To do very complex integrations, but you do not need to be a programmer to start messing up with it. And that is really, really, really cool. I'll check later why that's not happening when we're off screen. It's very easy to install other add-ons. Each block here in the supervisor section is basically a different Docker server, different Docker container, and you start building up a system of systems through it. As you can see here, you can update the system itself from within it. You do not need to do anything special about it. And the list of devices that I have is managed from the control panels. And these are the types of integrations that are currently on. So this is a good example. It discovers things on your network, right? Okay. And you can switch off those discoveries if you want. You can add system-based, network-based integrations. A lot of it discovers automatically. Some you can add like this, Meteorologics Institute. You have a system online that you want to grab information from. You get an API key, you set it up. MyQ, that's my garage opener, right? And so all I need is the login. By the way, this one, this integration saved me a lot of money because I didn't need to pay the subscription to MyQ, right? All I needed is just a username. Whoever programmed the integration figured out how to do it without paying them any money. I got my Ubiquiti network monitored. So, for example, things you can do with Ubiquiti monitoring, right? You're hooked up to events coming in from your Ubiquiti gateway. And so whenever a new device comes in, there's an event. You can map your MAC address of your devices, right? And so you get presence in the home based on your Wi-Fi router. You don't need to put anything on your phone. You get an event. Hey, Gal's home, right? Stuff like that. So Z-Wave integrations. These are the integrations that have some sort of UI interaction, and that's why they're showing up here. There's a whole slew of other integrations baked in as well.
Wow.
Overwhelming.
I passed, yeah. These are the cameras. So this is the front bell, the front house bell, right? Last activity and something from the past few minutes. This is inside my home. So you get Plex servers, it sees everything.
Jesus.
And most of it is just picked up on its own.
Huh. So
how much CPU power does it need, really?
It will run fine on a Raspberry Pi, third
Damn.
generation.
Wow.
Okay, so
okay.
yeah, I
So-
mean, it might be less snappy than this, right? Because of the memory consumption, but it still runs fine. I started with the Raspberry Pi. I moved it to the server when I wanted to run more services, but that's
So-
it.
So let's do this, Gal. Okay, so great. So I got this thing, I get it set up. Now, obviously, the big thing is what you're describing is the integrations.
Right.
So,
Hey, Nick,
yes, sir.
can we break and let Spence do the specials? I mean, and continue it afterwards, or is that?
Yeah,
gonna
that works
break?
for
Yeah,
me if
let's
it works
do
for
that,
Gal.
and
Right.
I'll try to fix the Node-RED in the meantime so I can demo it.
All right. So how do I go out of the?
Gal needs to
Let me stop
unshare his
sharing.
screen.
That'll be the easiest.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. We'll come back to that. in a little
Write
bit.
down where you were. You wanted to
Yeah,
know
we're
about
good.
integration.
Yep.
All right. Hey, Spence, are we ready?
I think we're ready.
All right. So we are right here. There we are.
And we're back today to one of our more traditional format because the retailers are actually starting to stock stuff again. It's not as limited as it was. Still seeing some shortages of inexpensive printers, interestingly enough. Laptops, desktops, monitors. I don't know about webcams. I didn't find much out there. There's nothing advertised on the three.
But what are we looking
Retailers.
at the top there? I'm so thankful.
Oh, well, it says don't blame technology because you've got kids hanging out, young people hanging out, looking at their phones in 2016 and back in 1916. It shows all people standing on the street corners reading
And-
newspapers.
Socially distancing too.
That's it. Yeah, that's what they're doing. The technology of the day, the printed page. So, and I this other meme with the minion in it. It's just like I'm so thankful I had a childhood before technology took over. The most complicated things we had were transistor radios and walkie-talkies. I actually had an intercom between myself and my neighbor's house where we took two old tape recorders, battery-powered tape recorders, and we made it into an intercom. It's kind of fun. All right. So, Computers 2K Now special is June 28th, 2020. Is it actually June 28th
Yes,
already?
it is.
Oh, man.
All day long.
You know, I was hoping they would bring in lockdown again because I just was missing that so much. So I guess it's going to come back. So
Hush.
just when we thought things were,
Yeah.
all right. So starting with Staples, they're still in business. Thank goodness. I've actually used Staples and Office Depot and Home and Best Buy all in the last 2 months. Bought something at a good deal. All right. So if you're looking for a desktop, we've got a Dell 14-inch i5 desktop for $449.
You mean laptop?
Laptop. I'm sorry, not desktop. Yeah, laptop. We'll get to desktops.
Yeah.
There aren't any on the Dell site that I found that were were appealing anyway. But we've got a Dell 14-inch laptop, Intel i5, 128 gig SSD for $449. That's normally $599, so it's 25% off. A Lenovo IdeaPad. It's a 15.6-inch i3 notebook for $399. Save $130. 27-inch LCD monitor for $149. Prices are coming down. Availability is back. There's a lot of selection now. 13% off. 23-inch LED monitor from Dell for $99. Normally $169. Cable modem on sale. Netgear DOCSIS 3.0 cable modem. It's a 24 by 8, which means you got 24 downstream channels, 8 upstream channels, which means it fits Spectrum's requirements for 400 meg service. If anybody is a Spectrum customer, and I think Charter customers, they've been upgrading their networks and have published new recommendations for supported cable modems. And you want to get one that's listed. But this CM600 actually will work with Spectrum for up to 400 meg. Anybody have 400 meg Spectrum?
300.
Yeah, I have 300. I get about 320 on
You
mine.
still need
I have 200. I'm sorry. I had the 200 plan.
In order,
And that's gone now. That's gone.
well, the thing is, even for the 200, you needed to get 24 by 8.
You know what? It's funny. I'm using on mine, I think it's a 16 by 4. It's an older TP-Link, but it's using all 16 downstream channels, but it's only using one upstream channel to give me my 10 up, which is weird. Yeah, so I'll run a speed test when I'm done here just to look to see if anything's changed. They're pulling fiber all throughout the roads in Apex, all over the place.
But not on your street.
Right past the entrance to my development. I don't know who it is. I assume it's AT&T. But I'm hoping they'll finally bring some high speed into this neighborhood. It'd be great. So I have a choice. So $69 for that Netgear cable modem. $10 off. Hard to find a low price starter inkjet printer, but they do have a Canon Pixma TR 4520 for $59, which is 40 off. Pretty good price on a Canon color image class wireless laser printer for $184, which is 95 off. Good price on a Seagate Backup Plus Slim 2 terabyte USB 3.0 drive, external drive. This is a portable drive. $67.49, which is 20. What would it be? 67. So about $13 off. Still can't get the deal I got on my iPad. I got an iPad for $250. 7th generation, 32 gig. I think did I get 32 or 64? I think it was 32. 10.2 inch tablet. I got it at Best Buy for $250. Just have not seen that deal. The cheapest I was finding was $319, which is only 10 off the regular price. But here they have it for $299, so it's pretty good. $20 off, $30 off the regular price. Amazon Echo Dot 3rd generation. I was given this by my daughter, and the audio quality on this is far superior to the original stuff. $29, that's half price. Lexar high performance, 128 gig, a Micro Sdxc Card. This is the micro plus the adapter for standard SD. $24.99, which is $5 off. And finally, this is for you, Amnon. Do you still have your Keurig?
Yeah.
So here you go. Dunkin' Donuts coffee, Keurig cups, a 44 box for $19.99. I still can't believe that people pay this much money for coffee.
I grind my own.
I know you make your own, so that's good.
Oh, I pay, but I pay to Nespresso.
Oh,
yeah, you want to get? Yeah, I loved it. I mean,
No, that's like a religion, you know. It's like it's like Apple people.
Yes, we've been through three machines, and I decided after the third one died that I wasn't going to invest in another Keurig. So, though I loved it. I mean, I loved having all the different variety, but they just got tired of repairing.
Don't compare Keurig to Nespresso. Come on, man.
No, that's true. Yeah, That's true. You get one of these machines that had a commercial heritage first.
Exactly.
As a home, instead of a home one that grew into a commercial one.
I'll give Keurig one thing. They're the first company to come up with the capsules, but Nespresso did definitely perfect the process. So
yeah. All right, so that's it for staples. Going to Office Depot, Office Max. They've got a Asus 15. What does it say? VivoBook 15 with an AMD Ryzen 3 for $329, which is $120 off. They got Lenovo Flex 5 14-inch touchscreen with a Ryzen 5, 256 solid-state drive, 8 gig of memory for $569, which is $50 off.
Do the Ryzens go like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Yeah,
8?
it's similar.
Or do they?
I'm not sure the very current one, but when they first introduced it, it was 357, and now they have the 9. And I think there is the 8 a mobile, special mobile product. I can't remember. I think there's an 8 also, but they also have like a high-end Ryzen also under a separate branding. Got an HP desktop Ryzen 7, 256 solid state drive. This is for $649. And we've got a Lenovo Idea Center Core i5 8 gig for $549. Save 79. Is that $70? Okay. All right. So the best deal I could find on a Brother laser printer, they didn't have the low end ones. They're still out of stock. The original USB Connect or the inexpensive wireless one. This is more of a business class machine, the Brother 5200 DW. I have the older version of this. Great printer, had it for years, just chugs away. High duty cycle, $169, which is $30 off the regular price. And we've got a pretty good deal on an HP OfficeJet Pro 6978 wireless inkjet for $89, which is $90 off, half price. All right, we've got a 23.8-inch LED monitor from HP for $119, which is 10 off. Got a SanDisk Cruiser Guide USB flash drive, 32 gig for $599. I saved $24. You can go out and buy a 3-pack.
Yeah. I
bought a 3-pack of 32 gig, very basic drives. They work fine when they were USB 2.0. They weren't 3.0. But the prices on flash drives are real good. All right, we've got a SanDisk Extreme Plus Micro Sdxc Card with adapter, 256 gig for $64.99, which is $185 off the regular price.
And before you rush out to buy one of these, before you have to make sure that your device will support.
Yes, that much memory. Yeah, and the speed.
Yeah,
this is good. This is really meant for recording, high speed or a high quality video mainly, because you have to have the speed and the data rate to record.
Yeah. So
carefully check the. Each of these little symbols on here has a meaning as far as capacity and so on, classes. And this is I can't tell, there's no class numbers on this, but you can learn a lot by just decoding the.
Just check. Just make sure that this.
Yes. Remember those dash cams you gave me a couple years ago? Alan?
Yeah.
It's been a while. That really were kind of weird because they didn't run all the time.
Right.
Yeah, but the card that came with that, the 32 gig card, one of the old cards that I couldn't get it to work in other stuff, but I just added the adapter and Ethernet adapter USB flash drive to my Amazon Fire Stick. So I could add more memory. And so I'm using that SD card with a USB adapter plugged into that hub, plugged into that adapter, and now that memory is visible by my going from, I think I had 8 gig or 16 gig on that. It was not enough to do anything, basically. I had to delete apps. Okay, we've got an Epson Workforce ES200 portable duplex document scanner for $189, which is 30 off. What's nice about this is it does scan both sides in one pass, and it has a sheet feeder. I think it's up to 30 sheets. So good medium duty scanner. They do also have a version of this. It's a little more expensive. That is called the receipts version, and I think that's meant. They mean that, but they mean to say that because it has apps that are used to isolate receipts and track receipts, and it does optical character recognition to add them to accounting. It's pretty cool. All right, Linksys MaxStream Tri-Band Mesh MU MIMO 802.11 AC wireless router for $149. This is not the latest technology, but it is a good deal. It's $50 off. And finally, Belkin Wemo mini spark plug. Now you can get cheaper ones, but this is really all they had on sale. This is $23.99, save $6. It's good to, if you're going to pick something like this, it's good to stick with a manufacturer if you're going to just go with their app. If you're going to do an automation routine like Gal has, where it will accept common devices that share the same standard, then it's no problem.
But this is Wi-Fi, right?
Yes, this is Wi-Fi. Yeah. But you can, if you're going to, I have so many different things around the house that sometimes it gets confusing as to what I'm controlling. But that's because I don't have an aggregator. I just have everything.
That's because you started a long time ago.
Oh, yes.
There were
still aggregate it.
Oh, no, I realize you can. I'm just not going to do it because I just gave away, or I just donated a whole bunch of X10 stuff, Amnon.
Mm-hmm.
And some of it was brand new in the boxes.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
Wall switches and outlets.
Yeah.
Yep. There are people that love this stuff. You can still buy it. You can still buy it new. It's very expensive. But there are people that still use it and love it. And I use it for the holidays.
The wired ones?
The wired ones, yes.
What do you mean wired ones?
Yeah, no, it uses house wiring. That's how the signal.
Oh, yeah. They're not wired.
Technology.
They're wireless, but they're using the house wiring.
But they're not wireless.
Well, they're not wireless. They're using the house wiring.
Don't say it like that.
You don't need additional wires, but it is not wireless.
It's right.
It's not RF based.
No.
Well, theoretically it is, but it's RF over the house wiring.
Okay.
Because it's old technology. It really isn't even digital. So it's using analog signaling.
Yeah, but the point is you don't have to wire them one to the other.
Right.
Just by plugging it
yes,
in.
Yes, in that case. Well, you do. You have to be on the same circuit breaker panel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to have bridges to bridge between the two legs.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Most of the time. All right. And that's it for Office Depot Office Max. And let's move to Best Buy. And we have an Asus VivoBook 17-inch AMD Ryzen 7 laptop, 12 gig of memory, 512 solid state drive,
wow.
$549. That's a good deal. I mean, it's only $50 off the regular price, but that is a nice machine for that price. 17-inch screen, 17.3-inch screen. Very nice. You could Velcro that to the wall and use it as your TV. That would work good. All right. So on the inexpensive side, we've got an HP 14-inch Chromebook, AMD A4 series for $199, which is $50 off. An AMZ Ryzen 5 from HP, 12 gig of memory, 256 solid state drive for $479. That's $70 off. Got a Samsung 24-inch LED monitor for $139, which is $30 off. This is an interesting thing I stumbled across. Best Buy they're starting to get back to a more standardized web experience, but you still can find some interesting stuff depending on how deeply you want to dig in and look and use filters. But I came across this thing called the Motorola Moto AXH01 Alexa built-in wireless home telephone system. It is. Not only is it Alexa, but it is an answering machine. It is a walkie-talkie, depending on the base station itself can make calls. And then there's the wireless handset that goes with it. And it is expandable. But $74.99. You can just say, Alexa, call Dad. Oh, I'm sorry, I just made people's Alexa call Dad. Oh well. But you can use it to automate. Now here you go. It's a separate system. It's a proprietary thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting. $74.99 from Motorola. It's 25 off. Got a good deal on a Western Digital 5 terabyte USB portable hard drive for $104. It's $75 off. And finally, a Iogear USB-C docking station. Boy, I wish this stuff existed like 10 years ago. The grief that we went through trying to find docking stations and to expand video off of a laptop and the USB stuff. I had old early stuff. It worked, but it wasn't great.
How many display outputs does it have?
It's got VGA, HDMI, DisplayPort.
Okay, but with three plugs. Okay.
Yeah, and then it's got
I just bought one. That's why I'm asking.
It's got a SD and micro SD slot. It's got some of them I can't identify just from the picture.
It's got three USB 3s.
Three USB 3s.
It's got
I bought one because I
USB-C.
needed two screens. I'm amazed at the fact that you can hook up to a USB 3 connector
and get
you
all
get-
out of it.
you
Yeah.
get a video card,
Yes.
basically, right? It
Yeah.
is- yeah,
I had an
saw
early
it.
version of the video through USB 2.0 that worked okay. It just couldn't get up to the resolution.
Right.
At
I'm
the
using
time,
the
the
four-
monitors didn't matter because they were using CRTs. So, but it was great.
I'm
I
using
had my,
two screens from a laptop on USB-C. One is 4K and one is 1K, right? The 180p.
oh, I don't know.
It's-
Yeah.
yeah.
But I was happy with what I
I'm
had.
blown. Yeah.
How much was it?
Mine?
Yeah.
Roughly.
Roughly.
Yeah, 120, I think, something like
Okay.
that.
Yeah, they have different.
Yeah, this is 8747, and when you have an unusual number like that, it's some type of a.
It means something to them.
Yeah, it means something to them as
Yeah.
far as whether it's a clearance item or a new item or something like that. But there
Or
is a,
where it was sold.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so it was normally $174.95. And oh, by the way, I did. That's the end of specials for today. Is the June 28th, 2020. I did.
Sorry, what?
I was going to say I did. Basically,
Go ahead.
drive a nail into the Western Digital cloud drive. The drive is bad. Took the drive out, did an analysis of it, and it is of the 3 terabytes, it only sees 700 and something gig.
Oh,
So the drive is dead, and there was nothing I could do to save it. And I switched over to, I bought an 8 gig, or I should say an 8 terabyte external USB drive and plugged it into my router. And now I'm doing all my backups across the network, and it shows up as a NAS to my backup software, which is nice. So I've been running that in the background.
All right. Well, thank you.
is that
Spencer.
Jim?
What were you saying, Gal?
150. That's how much mine
Oh.
costs. Didn't want to have anyone,
Which-
go
which
search
make?
for something cheaper.
Which one?
Just something with enough reviews on Amazon,
Nice.
specifically QGEM. QGEEM. That's the brand. Not a brand that I've heard about before. So
I love looking at some of the wacko brands on Amazon. Some of these names they come up with. And you look, it's all the same product. It's just 12 places selling it under different
Yeah.
weird names.
thicker brands. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I
Right.
got everything back online.
But just let me know. 919 518 9773 or Computers 2K Voice on Skype if you want to call in with a comment or a question. Go ahead.
Just size the window properly. Okay, this should be okay. Share, and you tell me. Hard to see.
Well, it is hard to see because it's so small. But remember, guys, you can always click the full screen
Yeah,
on the video,
open. Yeah, exactly.
and it will show it all over your screen. All right. Nick was going to ask something about integration, Nick, right? Did he fall asleep?
Yeah, so
Did he fall asleep?
how does all of the integration happen, right? So this screen, this is an auto-generated one. I left it that way because I'm still hooking up a lot of things. This system is completely refreshed, so it used to look a bit different. It looked something more like this, and it's really easy to edit it. Everything is editable. You can click here, you can change some parameters, you can see it affect over there. So it's really, really interesting. For example, this is hooked up to my Nest thermostat, and this is a custom component. So default thermostat view looks different, and this is a custom component that I've installed, so it'll look a lot nicer, right? So you have all of these possibilities.
Hey, Gal, I have a question.
Customization. Yeah, go ahead.
If you could estimate, how many hours did you spend on this so far? No,
that's a good question. So this specific system, what you're seeing, like this specific state from start to end, right. I probably put in, I don't know, 3-4 hours.
Oh.
Yeah, no, setting this up isn't complex. It's most of the time went on
customizing
the initial with Z-Wave. There's a process of adding components, and I have something like 20 something.
All right, never mind. Don't get into this.
Right,
it's fine. Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's a good question. It's a good question, but it's not daunting or anything. It's really rather simplistic. Now, if you're asking me how much time I've invested in home automation, that's way more than that, right? Yeah. But setting this up, no, a few hours. I wouldn't say more than that. What I'm mucking about is in the background structures of the configuration, because I like pushing things to the limit and understand how they work. And so most of my time is learning the system of how it works. But I got this, the friend of mine, we got it installed for him, and he's been using it. He's invested a lot more time in home automation than I about learning the system, right? Mm-hmm. And he has his home completely automated. You know, when the door opens here and somebody's in the house, don't light the light. If the door is open here and nobody's in the house, light the light in the front, you know, stuff like that. Wow. And that's where the integration part goes in. And this is no dread. I have a simple integration right now. Let me minimize things because I reduced the size of the window. So I got a light. My kitchen has two circuits of lights, right? I have a breaker. I have a switch for like a one cluster, and I have another one which is all across the room, and that lights up just a single light out of them. So one controls 5 and one controls 1. But usually when we're in the kitchen, I want all of the lights to light on, right? So I put in a switch on both. And now when I switch up the main light switch, it switches on the small one.
You're talking about the main light switch that's on the wall.
Yeah. So when I go and switch that on, or, you know, I tell my my Amazon Echo, switch it on, it also switches the other light. Mm-hmm. And so now they're like on a single circuit. There's a delay, of course. Sometimes it's completely immediate. It seems immediate. Sometimes it takes a second. that's because I'm using wireless controllers. Most of my home is Z-Wave based, Z-Wave based. So that's a very simple integration you can do, very quick. When you use the call service thing, so there's a whole slew of domains that you can control, right? And so a cover is a garage door, for example. They're called covers, right? And so I can say, close the cover, just choose my entity. In this case, it'll be my Q device, right? My garage door, my Q device. Just choose it. And once that switch will be switched off, right? My garage door will close. Simple as that. Didn't need to do new wiring. All I do is this virtual wiring from one to another. And there's a lot of components that you can use here. Timers of different types, you know, some, and if you are into programming, you can even do some, there's something called a filter.
And is this after
just,
the system sensed what you have, or is this stuff that you can't use some
the system?
of them?
No, the system. So all of these components, they're not about what I have in the system. What I have in the system, you saw as I typed,
Okay,
I saw
so,
what I can control.
So those
right?
components that you were showing, they are actions, kind of like.
Yeah. And here you see this list. All of these are components that I can either get information from or push commands on.
So these are all hardware.
Yeah,
Actual
they're
hardware.
not necessarily hardware. They can be software as well. But yeah.
Okay.
There are components in the system,
Yeah.
and it's just about, you know, dragging and dropping and hooking things up together. Because it's hooked up to the top one here, it's what happens when it's true, and the bottom one is what's happened when it falls. So this is what happens when I turn on the light. This is what happens when I turn off the light. Right.
Okay.
And you can, and it can go very, very complex. One of my, so my next project right now is hooking up to just the general meteorologic information about the area. You know, everything that you can get in a cell phone when you type in your zip code. And based on the prediction for the day, decide whether my AC should be in hot or cooling mode, and what the temperature of the AC should be inside the home. Because we like to keep the home at a constant temperature. But the thing is that if we are in cooling mode, right, I need the temperature to be a bit lower than usual. If I'm in heating mode, I need the temperature to be a bit higher than usual. And I want that to fluctuate based on what's going on outside. And even though I have the smartest, you know, I don't know if the smartest, but I bought a Nest, right, thinking that would be smart enough to keep me comfortable. No, that doesn't do what I want. And I find myself going and, you know, switching and changing it throughout the day too many times. So I said, now I can do it here. So a lot of options,
Nick, do you already have it set up?
Yes.
I don't doubt it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I started setting up, and I'm watching Gal's stuff. I'm not actually going to set it up until I get settled in. But so now let me ask you this, Gal. How does the mobile app work? You have to port forward?
So the way to do it, in a way, yeah. Do you have traffic installed, or Nginx, some sort of? The way to do it is to have an HTTPS
service.
HTTPS port exported through your firewall, and have it signed with Let's Encrypt, and it can do it for you, by the way. So
okay, well, I did set up a port forward on it, but
yeah. So one of the add-on components over here is an Nginx assistant, and I think there's also a Let's Encrypt. So you just install the stuff. If you don't have anything that's doing it already, you just install these add-ons and it does it for you.
Gotcha.
And Gal, there's no company that's doing this. This is all done by different people that are contributing to the system.
So not not precise.
Okay.
So this started as a project by an individual.
Yeah.
Okay. This started a few years ago, I think 2014 or 2013, something like that. That's when this attention started around it. Past year, the guy, along with a few key contributors, they've launched their own company. So this is what they're doing now, full time, it seems. They've launched their own company. They're doing the way they're paying for it, for all of this development and getting salaries and all of that, is they have a hosted cloud solution that they provide, where I've removed it here because I decided to go completely on my own, which is totally okay by them, right? It's not like I'm undermining them. I chose to pay through buying some merch instead of buying the subscription from them. And what they do is by using the hosted solution, they can provide really easy integration and connection to less technical people, right? If you want to hook it up to your Amazon Echo or your Google Assistant, then using their cloud services, it's literally as easy as just downloading an app from one of these ecosystems and just writing a command. For me to hook it up to my Echo, I needed to go through a lengthy process of opening a developer account, setting up a bunch of API keys. It's not impossible, but but it's for more technically inclined people instead of anyone who fears all of these processes and too many steps and doesn't have the patience to go through them. Then you can shell out $5 a month and you get a hosted service that gives you a lot of value.
All right.
So to answer the question, it is currently managed by or published by a very small private company that is community supported. But again, the entire development is probably they're probably right now the largest community of open source project on GitHub that isn't backed up by a corporation. They're definitely not a huge corporation. They're about 3 to 5 people, something like that. So it's a homebrew thing, very homebrew. Again, that is true for Home Assistant, and that means this view that you're seeing, the overview, the underlying structure behind the overview window over here, the fact that you can have these cards and things. But when you look at my integration list here, right, every piece here has been written by somebody else, mostly. They are not related to the company behind the Home Assistant. The list of options here is staggering. It's amazing in a way, right? Those were just visual things, themes and cards that you can use. On the integration side, you get another long list of integrations. Now, all of these integrations, they are solutions that when I go here to integration do not exist yet in my system. And somebody somewhere wrote some code. And what happens is when those integrations, they get mature, they are really the community, it really embraces them, then they become completely baked into the app. They get let's say upgraded to built-in status. They just get adopted, right? But I'll give you an example. So when I go here and I want to add the Nest, right? I mentioned I have a Nest thermostat, and I go through this process. I can tell you that this currently doesn't work because of changes Google made on the Nest side. That's why here over in Hacks, I have something called Bad Nest. And the reason it's called Bad Nest, it's the guy who wrote it said, this is a bad Nest integration. It's not based on anything of the publicly available documentation. It's more of a reverse engineering solution. But right now, this is the only solution that works with Nest until Google updates their API to allow, again, third parties to connect properly. So even though there isn't a solution right now out there that Google provides to any other project, this project will work with Nest because somebody figured out a way how to do it. It's not official. It's not supported. It got broken a few times, but it always gets fixed, and there's always a solution. So that is why I'm saying this is hands down better than any paid for environment that you buy into. I started with SmartThings, which is fantastic. It's fantastic. It was the best first step I could make into home automation because it was rather open based on Zigbee and Z-Wave, also supporting a lot of Wi-Fi based solutions. So what you see here in Home Assistant, right, is definitely what I saw a long time ago with SmartThings. But SmartThings being a company, and later they got bought by Samsung, it is a corporation-based company, and that means that what they put into it is usually has to do with some sort of business development contract. It has to do with sponsorship. It has to do, things move slow when it comes to that. And here, it's a bunch of enthusiasts, right?
Yeah,
so
and the Samsung one could disappear one day because they decide,
yes.
you know. But here, even if they decided, okay, we're not going to do this anymore, there's a big group of people that will get together and say, no, we are continuing it.
So yes and no. The main thing, the main difference between Home Assistant and probably most of other solutions is not only this is not subscription based, this is completely running inside your home. There is no piece of it if you don't want, right? If you don't want anything to run outside of your home, you have complete control. If you want to use systems that hook up via the cloud, yeah, you go on via the cloud, but this is completely in your control. So everything you see here in my logbook, which didn't populate last time, I'll see if it populates.
So no way for anybody to spy on you, like when the app goes out to the cloud somewhere, and that's what you mean?
If the app goes out to the cloud, that part is exposed, but only that part, right? It's not like anybody can track whatever's happening in my lights if I've never sent that piece of information out. With other systems, cloud-based systems, what happens is that is constantly going outside. So even though I switched a light switch in my home, right, a message goes out to the cloud because that's the way it gets to my phone.
Right.
So I need them. What happened with, what's their name? Asa?
Casa, the TP-Link stuff?
No, not TP-Link. The one Will.i.am, Wink.
Oh, Wink,
right? Yeah. What happened with Wink a month ago? They gave their users 5 days, right, via a Twitter blast saying, in 5 days, we're going to start charging subscriptions. And if you're not paying the subscription, you're cut off from your home. This will never happen here.
Which is better than the one, what was I using? The The 50, the hook. Yeah, they just
Yeah,
disappeared.
they died. Yeah, but let me ask you this: if Hook would have come and told you, "Hey, pay us $5 and you can still keep on your lights on,"
I don't know.
I don't think you would pay, right?
I don't know at this
not
point.
with a
At this point,
gun against your your temple.
Yeah,
That's how it feels, right?
yeah.
So,
I mean,
I'm not saying
I
it's
may
not
I may
worth.
because it was a cheap solution, but you know, because start looking for something else, you find, oh, I can do it this way. Great, never mind then.
So here's the thing, Wink, right? Their components, if I recall correctly, at least a few of them, they were Zigbee based, right? So you're now faced with pay us in order to keep using your phone app and stuff, right? And you know, automation you set up, or go buy a competitive that will hook up to Zigbee, right? And does not charge you. Or better yet, hook up an open source system that knows how to control Zigbee, and never pay anyone ever again. And that's the thing, right? That's what's unique about this. From the start, there is no ownership of you in no way, not of your controls, not of your data. I mean, I'm not a privacy freak. I am a control freak though, right? I want to be able to control what happens with my stuff. Now, do you want to know something about me? I'm willing to negotiate that, but as long as I can take it back when I need to, because it's mine.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the thing. That's what drives me towards stuff like this. It's like the ability to control what happens with my data. I love the fact that I can go back and see my history laid out in detail, right? Sometimes, you know, painful detail. I want to know when I'm doing things wrong, because this allows me a way to reflect and think of and solve a solution. Google wants to know it as well. As long as they're not cutting me out of it, I'm actually quite fine with it, right? I mean, I use a Google phone. It tracks my every movement, but I'm allowed to go to my timeline and see where I've been. And not only that, I can edit it, make it more for me, right? That's okay. But if I can have a system without Google, why not, right?
So let me ask Nick something. Nick, what'd you get out of this?
But I mean, a whole bunch of stuff.
Good.
No, I can't really. Yeah.
I'm wondering if anybody that's in the chat, never mind the rest, people that are in the chat, if they got something out of it. I mean, this is knowledge that that's not easy to come by.
No, it's pretty tough to ingest.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot, right? And there's a sense of overwhelming possibility, and then you don't really know where to start.
Well, okay.
If you want to go there, start small. Start with a single light switch.
Then let's end with this. Perfect. Okay, great. So I got this installed. Maybe some other people are going to get this installed. What is the process of finding the best sensors, switches, cameras, whatever? Now, I know they have an integrations page, but just because it's on the integrations page doesn't mean everything is supported. So is there a place that you can go to find the most ideal devices to get, the most ideal switches or sensors or fire, you know, smoke detectors, carbon monoxide, water sensors? What's the place?
So another overwhelming place, but I think it is a good place to start, is smarthomedb.com. Let me paste it into the chat.
Smarthomedb.com.
Yeah, because that's a location where people, they share their knowledge about smart home devices and allows you to search them. And I think the most amazing things there is they have these playbooks and play maps. people share out how their home is hooked up completely, like a map showing, I don't know, an Echo connected to a Home Assistant, which is connected to like the slew of devices. And if the devices are connected to another service, then it shows that. It like maps out complete ideas, complete homes. And so it's a very interesting thing. So you get something about also popularity of components. And when you're searching whether there's integration to something, something like that. And so you can find that. Now, Home Assistant, the approach should be a bit different. You need to decide on an ecosystem if you don't already have one. If you have something, start. So do you have a smart switch at home? Any toggle, like anything?
Yeah, I've got a couple, but they're all Amazon.
Fantastic. Search for a way to integrate them into Home Assistant first, right?
Okay.
As is, because my guess is if they're popular enough, you'll find a way how to do it. It's not that hard. And so start hooking up everything that you can that you already have. Combine it with some basic weather service and figure out how to do presence detection, right? Home Assistant has a concept of zones, which is also geolocation, right? And that can be tracked from a mobile app. And so the combination of these things, slap on Node-RED there with MQTT and start playing with that.
Gal,
that usually costs you nothing at this point because you already have a few components.
Yeah.
Gal, is there a forum?
Oh, there's tons. Go to Reddit, go to their site. There's a huge community, very active one. It's mind-blowing.
Okay, so no, but I'm talking about where you can find people that have no experience and people that have a lot of experience, and you could just go and say, I'm looking to hook carbon monoxide, and I found this. Will it work?
Well, let's be clear here. And this is, God, stop me when I'm incorrect, but this is not necessarily the solution for somebody that is not very techy. This is this.
I don't agree. I definitely do not agree. So you do not need to be very techy. Okay. You just need to be, you don't need to be, the only thing I would say, if you're afraid of technology, right, that's probably not the best first step. But if you want to set up something that you want to control from your phone, think about very simple things at the beginning.
Stop sharing your screen so we can see you.
Oh, I'm still sharing. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Go ahead.
So if you're start thinking about simple things you want to do and not necessarily complete integrations, right? If you have some sort of sensor that already exists, then you're techy enough to start thinking about this. If all you have are light switches and you want to, you want to make sure that that you have an easy way of shutting down all those lights, right, from a phone app, definitely this is the place to start, right? Start simple, start small. The forums are very inviting to newbies. I've never seen a single rude answer, right? And even if somebody says, hey, just check the integration page, it is always done courteously. It is that nobody is shaming anyone. The amount of new users in the past year has been staggering, amazing, and the community is embracing them. So nice. It's definitely an open community, an inviting community. I would definitely recommend that. Just subscribe to their subreddit. You'll get all of the ideas just streaming down every day a new idea about what you can do with Home Assistant. It's amazing.
Let me ask you
things
one
people
final
do.
thing.
Yeah.
Have you set up your Home Assistant to? Do you have like a screen in your house that's like an overview, or is that a thing? You know what I'm talking about, like a dashboard that you have always up.
I've started building one. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, and that's a pretty common thing that can be done.
Yeah. I took a drawing. I actually went into something like 3D home suite 3D, something like that. Sweet Home 3D, which allows you to draw really easily, walls and windows and stuff. Grabbed it into an image and started slapping things on it, so I can click on the map of the home to decide where lights switch on and stuff like that. And the idea, yes, is to mount it eventually on a tablet, an old tablet that I have.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is with stationary switches, right? Especially today that we have these voice assistants, it's probably a lot easier just to tell the home what to do than to click on something. But you can still set up a dashboard that shows, weather information or one very fun integration that I've seen is hooking up to different parcel delivery solutions, and it'll just light up when something is on the way or has arrived, right? So you get hooked up to the outside world in a way that you've never thought would be easy, clear before.
So all of my stuff is integrated through Amazon right now. So I probably need to figure out how to integrate Home Assistant into my Amazon device so I can continue that workflow. Because their stuff is not supported outside of their ecosystem.
Not supported outside of their.
Well,
I did. I
did a little Googling.
You can access it. If you can access it via IFTTT,
you cannot. Yeah, they've got their stuff pretty locked down. But nevertheless, I'm sure there's a way to do it. But
I'm pretty sure there is. There is, because there is an Alexa integration, right? That you can go through, and not only that, you basically create an Alexa app in your store just for you, and that app can do anything within the Amazon ecosystem, I think. So I'm pretty sure that will probably require some scripting, but it's possible.
Yeah. But again, if you're going to continue using your Echo ecosystem, it's probably not a bad idea to purchase that $5 a month service so that stuff is just integrated by default, right?
I mean, you can. I can tell you, I went through it. It took me, I don't know, an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, or something like that to set it up. But after it's set up, you don't need to do anything. So,
okay.
For me, it wasn't, it was a way to explore that option. One of the really nice. Yeah, go ahead.
Can you control devices that you use on your Amazon through Home Assistant with that integration?
Theoretically, yes. I didn't need to, but yeah. Gotcha. As far as I understood, you could. Not only that, you could set Home Assistant to, for example, prompt through Amazon, send you a message. Tell you, you're telling it good night, and it says, hey, I think you forgot. Did you remember closing the garage door or something like that, right? It can prompt you things.
Yeah.
Or, you set up an alert, a USPS parcel has arrived, right?
Yeah.
You can set it up, right? Right now, Amazon only supports what they support. But here you can write your own app because you're writing a skill that does it for you. So,
yeah.
And the documentation, the community, it is the best that I've seen. I'm not saying it's perfect, right? There are things that I find hard to find, but I eventually always find it. And if not, there is a place to ask the question and you get the answer. And it's if you want a project, right? And you like playing with your home, right? This is making your home into a toy, fantastic toy. So definitely recommend it.
All right,
cool.
But What, Nick?
I said cool.
Oh. All right. Well, I think that was the first show that we had that was like almost like a webinar thing.
Sorry.
It was
I
very
tend to go on
it
and on and
was-
on and
it
on.
was it was loaded with good information. Thank you, Gal. This is important. A lot of people are
I think it's becoming more and more important. I agree.
right. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people are going for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else we want? There was only one thing that I wanted to mention here, which is not really good news in a way. Charter Communications has asked federal regulators for permission to impose data caps on broadband users and to seek interconnection payment from large online video providers starting next year. This is from Ars Technica. Charter is who owns Spectrum. Charter, unlike other ISPs, isn't allowed to impose data caps and faces limits on charges for interconnection payments because of conditions applied to its 2016 purchase of Time Warner Cable. The conditions were imposed by the Federal Communication Commission for 7 years and are scheduled to elapse in May 2023. Last week, Charter submitted a petition asking the FCC to let the condition run on May 18, 2021. Instead, the FCC is seeking public comments on the petition. When it sought FCC permission for the merger, it told the FCC that it provides service without any data caps, usage-based pricing, or modem fees, and that it has been involved in no notable disputes over traffic management and has long practiced network neutrality. When contacted by Ars Technica yesterday, this was Friday, Charter said it doesn't currently plan to impose data caps or change its interconnection policy, but it wants the option to do so. So, yeah, they keep saying, Spectrum, no data caps, because they couldn't do it, according to the FCC or according to limitation. Now they are asking them to allow them 2 years earlier to do it. And they said they're not going to do it, but they want to be able to be in a position to do it. Guess what that means? Yeah. So.
Well, and they should want to. Everybody else gets to do it. I mean.
Yeah. But that's what gives them an edge now, in my opinion.
Well, then if it gives them an edge, then they'll keep it their current way. The big thing is those interconnection fees. The interconnection fees are big money.
Well. All right. Anything else anybody wants to add? Nothing? Nada?
Oh, good, man.
All right. Well, thanks, Gal. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Spence. I know he left, but. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Dina, Arlette. Thank you, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. Tonight at 7, Nick hosts Against the Norm at atnshow.com. And if you're in Wilmington, you can listen to it also on Big Talker 106.7 FM. See you guys.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.